plane path from Los Higos all the way up to Torrejomada. In the northeast side, a fairly even cut on the plane path. Should be fairly kind to everyone involved. Spots a shot onto Squash. Sails it on down. Wolves, S2G, taking a little bit of scrap at their own. The Wolves try and crash on in, but S2G, they played well in the last game. They're going to continue to do so here. Memory burned away as well. 2 points found for Kelsey.
Yeah, there's a lot of confidence coming through for S2G from the global stage, right? There was a lot of people predicting them to be in the top 3. And I think right now they're proving why they should be up towards that position at the moment with 15 points, 2 eliminations found. More out them. It could be an instantaneous adaptation as well, where we do see Wolves get better maybe in match 3, match 4, at which point you start to see them take off just a little bit.
Cliff dives from the 4 Angry Men to move towards Beautiful. A nade leashed towards WWX and will actually do a hefty chunk of damage there. Does need to be a bit worried, and Beautiful backs most of them off. In the meantime, Geek Fam trying to hold off Influence Kemin. Wolves fall. The last player did go down and out-snipes one of the 2 remaining Geek Fam players. Will leave his teammate high and dry now as Damn Rude, last surviving member for the squad. Influence Kemin up to 3 eliminations.
I always get one of the players back up, so Inco's still at 4. We're sent away by Nova. It's not an ideal position, unfortunately. The team's able to watch across. Again, though, Inco's kind of setting themselves up towards Buduram and Alpha 7. They'll have to plant their feet, though. In the meantime, 4 AM, looking out towards Fireflux. Again, this would be horrific to crash into this one and take so many casualties so quickly.
Oh, Lutz and Solke both fall, and Fireflux are down to 2. A really nice crossfire, a forwards movement from Svan, and WWX does them wonders, but King is there to play spoiler. Spots Svan crawling back behind the headland, and there is cover.
Remaining now for the team.
Ooh. Delta just gets back to cover for DRS and around the side again. Up and into the upstairs position now for Delta, but the blue zone's there, and there's the knock. T2K will not have to worry about that one. Killer further ahead of the curve. Jane just needs to stay alive, and they can move in and play this one smart. They should see that Delta's gone down and will be flushed as well. T2K also taking shots over towards Schweppes. Will be able to find them, but there is an answer on that engagement. Influence Kemin in the meantime on the northern side. They've been troubling IHC for a long, long time and will continue to give them that very same trouble. More eliminations starting to flow on through, and teams are dropping like flies now, Blank. We've just lost, I think, 5 teams in about 10 seconds.
It was very quick. And honestly, this is the case of Labadita being shunted out. There are so many teams kind of playing around that area. And you can only play around that area for so long before you have to full send it over this side. Vampire Esports were really hanging on by a thread for a long, long while. They lose 3 players, in fact.
4 Angry Men up to 5 eliminations now. S2G struggling. Silas very, very low. Will bleed on out. Kelsey also under a lot of pressure here. 4 Angry Men pick up 7. Vampire seemingly the next to fall to their blade, but there is that one shot coming over the top from Schweppes, who is keeping them together now. The only piece of the puzzle remaining for them. 2 reses potentially on the cards, but with a blue zone coming in 35 seconds, with 4 Angry Men moving in to exert leverage over those down positions. Schweppes going to have his work cut out with Qingchen on the high ground. Needs a miracle to make this one work. Good Xiao with that Molotov forces Schweppes to go for a little bit of an engagement there, forces him to peak too high, and actually it's T2K to take the point.
Vampire Esports really pulled out every single stop there to try and make their way through, but it was not meant to be, unfortunately. Aggressing onto that position maybe had to happen a little bit sooner, but with S2G up towards that north side, Stalwart, 4 AM having a really good hold on that position, with Alter Ego also getting in the mix with 2TK. I think that honestly, you look at that and you just think it's a dying battle. I think Vampire Esports thought their position was a lot better than it was, but I think it was just because so many of these teams cornered themselves down towards La Bandita, which is why we saw so many fall so instantly as soon as this circle moves up this way. Influence came in, pick up that position that Little Boy's been holding for quite some time over towards that northeast as a regroup, and they may need to send it down towards Alpha 7 spot. But as well as Influence came in, both are looking to take shots towards Alpha 7 and maybe get a knock or 2, in which case they can take up the mantle of that really good spot in the circle.
9 eliminations now for 4 Angry Men already. 3 of their players still active in the fight. 2 teams right now, 3 teams, sorry, with 4 alive. Inco, Alpha 7, Influence Kemin. All the Brazilian teams are still very much in this one, but Order may be looking to change that one. Federal close by to danger, but has backup across the way. Shots landing really effectively, and there's the nade. Excellent 1-2 punch from the Influence Kemin squad. They've been playing with strength on this northern side and will continue to do so. Paraboy now looking to try and get across that road, get across that ridge line as Order flushed out, his teammate taken away. 4 Angry Men moving into another Brazilian stronghold here against Inco this time around. Vitali opens up the bidding, a good Xiao falls first. WWX is a second casualty in the engagement, and Ching Chen now looking to trade nades around the corner. Vitali has other ideas. A nade towards the back goes a little bit long. Molotov around the wall stops a fallback from Ching Chen, forces him into the fight, and excellently executed. Inco. Beautiful hold.
I mean, 2023, the year of Brazil, man. I'm telling you, these guys are on the upward battle, the upward path towards the stairway to heaven. And honestly, I'm really so incredibly happy about Brazil and the Brazilian teams and what they've done this past year and what I think they will do this next year as well. Influence Kemin, I think they've come in and kind of revitalized A7 in a way, because I think that A7 was sort of cruising a little bit. Then suddenly Influence Kemin comes out of nowhere and it's like, there's another kid on the block, and Alpha 7's like, right, we can't have this. We're going to have to really go into hyperdrive. And again, Inco, the little brother, starting to make their way up the rankings as well. Looks good. I think with a little bit more time, maybe coaching, analysts, Inco could be a really, really good team. They do have extreme potential. Taking down 4AM like that is not easy.
And when you've got stars like Nenebete coming through on that little brother Inco team, it's no wonder. Say little brother, currently second place on the overall tables, 4 eliminations on this game. Brilliant, brilliant stuff from the largest country in South America. They have certainly made their mark and are continuing to do so here in Jakarta. Nova on the northern side, playing with 2 now.
Yeah, still going. I think that's the main thing. But again, only 5 points so far for Nova. It's not ideal as defending champions. It's kind of the day where you would like to get a big bump up in terms of points potential. That last day looked a little bit easier. Again, for Nova, certainly anything is possible. They have pulled things out the bag before. I would not be surprised to see a 100-point day be pulled out from a top hat on day 3. That is just something that might happen. Again, though, it would be very, very difficult. Inco. Still on this western side, still doing work. Paraboy steps up, finds at least 1 there, though. Good stuff. Nenebete's down. Arguably the key player over on Inco.
Will be felled, actually stolen away there by Buriram. Across the way, Vitali looking to light up Jimmy, will be able to do so. It's Scry to chime into it as well as Jimmy goes down outside the shack. Currently held by Stalwart up the top, but Paraboy will fall to the play zone. And that's going to leave Nova out. 5 teams now remaining. Influence Kemin on that northern side. 3 players left alive. Alpha 7, all 4 of them going. Inco 3 as well. Buriram looking to try and keep themselves together, but they are 1 against the Brazilian 3.
It is going to be difficult now for Buriram to keep their cool going forward. Coming into the last zone before we do enclose this one completely. Right now, Buriram, Tiger, Kenzo, Sky Only, very good at holding down the battlefield. Sky Only is this player that's always been so manipulative of a lot of players within the circle itself.
Buriram playing with 3 shots, really tearing into Influence Kemin now as Inco have turned their attention their way just that little bit. For 8 eliminations now as Influence Kemin will fall that northern side. It gave them a lot of points there, but 4th place, 8 eliminations, great stuff. Inco is really the big news here. They started this game on 2nd place. They have 3 players alive and a really great chance here as well on Miramar.
Yeah, they were sent away by Nova. And again, this is the Nitro boost. This is where they click the green button and get going. Alpha 7 looking to stop that one. A Winnie in the hands of Mythic. They have not moved too far away from that position before. Becca, Squash, Vitali still up. Nenebete, that key player, not on his feet though. But again, Vitali was able to put in some really good work on that last game as a start opponent for them. Sky Only tries to spray down the guys from A7, but they're making a good move here. Gaining ground, actually.
Terrain play really on point for Alpha 7 with 4 players alive. That is the most of any. Buram absolutely blindsided there to a nice little spray coming through from Squash. Buram cut down to just 2 active. Mythic spotted, but hits the deck with a Winnie. Wants to tear a head or 2 off shoulder, but have to wait and see for the opportunity. Carrillo being sprayed out towards Tiger as they go across the open field in the buggy, but Carrillo steps up for Alpha 7.
Goodness me!
Lit up and Buram full. That's going to be 2 teams now remaining. Alpha 7 still in it with 4 as Inco take 3 into the final fight.
Mythic down, really, really bad news. That off angle was so important for them. Now Carrillo tries to get himself back up into action, but already Inco is making the right moves, destroying all the vehicles, preventing them from pushing any further towards the circle. They already have the center here, a very good ridge to play around, and Carrillo split off from his team. On the other hand, Inco's in a great spot to finish this one out strong. And yeah, little brother might be getting his own back here.
Mythic very unlikely to get rezzed in this scenario. This is the final zone, and it will close all the way to the center. There is potential for them to roll out towards Mythic. There is that little ridge line in front of him that can be played as cover. But the time really not on your side, and do you want to invest the smokes at this stage?
I mean, yes, it's last zone. I 100% would. That's definitely fair. What I would do.
Do they have any left?
Yes. No. Yes. No.
That's Inco.
That is a stun grenade. Most of them have already been popped out.
Looks like that way. Carrillo does make a push really far forward into Squash's crosshairs. That's not going to work out. Unfortunately, there's not even a trade to be seen. Now 2 players active for Alpha 7. 4 eliminations on the game. Mafioso and Revo now with it all to do for the squad. Inco, they took 2nd in the first match of today. They're looking to try and put up that 1st place here on Miramar. Alpha 7, arguably specialists here on Miramar though. So even with a duo, they are certainly a force to be feared. Mafioso goes down. In the meantime, Revo now last standing for Alpha 7, and it's not long for it. It is Inco to step up yet again, and what a start to their tournament. 2nd place followed by a chicken dinner.
We wanted to know if they still had that power to take on the biggest teams within the lobby. And look, they pulled out the nitro boost at the end, but this time they've attached spikes to the front of the car, and they send that one flying directly into the chicken dinner. They'll pick that one up, they'll take it with them. And that is a very, very good game there from Inco. Even again, losing Nenebete, being able to play with Squash, Vitali, Becca. These players really have leveled up their game from league play into PMGC Grand Finals, and that is something that's wonderful to see. And it was great news to see that early, because a lot of these teams have got to be scared now. Got to be scared of Inco, because it's like, look, we took down their MVP. We took down their best player, and regardless of that, they're still able to pull out some big numbers, some big games. And I think for Inco, they have found that teamwork, that synergy that they were desperately looking after.
Vitali was brutal in that game as well, getting 6 eliminations on the cards for the squad. Really, really solid performance. Did so much work against those teams who tried to move in central.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, again, this is a case of getting sent back by Nova early on. Yeah, of course, that does suck. That sucks, almost losing a player as well off the back of it. So you pull back, you pull away, you reevaluate the situation. I think they didn't want to head down towards La Vendita. They noticed there wasn't a lot of players coming across the fielded area early on. So they thought, look, so many players must be down that southwest edge according to the actual playing path at the beginning, which went southwest up to northeast. So a very smart play from them to just kind of hover in that location. And it wasn't that compounded play that they went for. They kind of just went for those ridges, those little dips that they could play in, those ditches, and then really brought out everything they could in that last moment, because they were guns blazing.
They absolutely blasted on through. A great result for Brazil as a region, well, I say as a country, in that South American region. A triple result. Buram could not stand up to the test of those South Americans.
I think Sky Only just wasn't prepared for the amount of firepower that's coming back his way. I think Sky Only's used to, stepping up, hitting some shots, and laying back down again.
Well, Inco making statements here, making big moves. And what a time to do it.
Welcome back to the desk. And if that wasn't an exciting game, I don't know what is. We have Brazil. 3 of the 3 teams inside the top 4. Now, 7, if you're not smiling all over your face, I don't know when you are.
It usually takes a little bit longer for me to say this, but I think this is the perfect time to say this, Max.
Do Brasil!
Inco Gaming, 25 total points, 10 elims, and then you have Miramar United Esports. You know, for them to be able to put up 18 points, they definitely needed those points. But Alpha 7 continuing on a good performance, being able to get 16 points, Influence Champion as well, 16 points for them. Those teams from Brazil, and this is without Sandhawk too. I can't wait to see what they're going to be doing.
It's going to be real hype. You know, I do like normally during PMGC Grand Finals, I was going to call you Alpha 7. That's how like close you are tied to them. I like having now a little bit of rivalry on which team to look at. But really, I have to say, like, your pick of Brazil, this event has been just great so far. And Vitali, new MVP in the only 2 games so far in these Grand Finals. This guy's been clutch. He cleared out 4 AM in that game too. Like, this guy is on an absolute tear at the very start of these finals.
It is. In the first game, I thought maybe it was because they had the circle, but I feel like in this one, they were able to showcase it a little bit more of the actual talent that they're currently having. And I mean, for him to be able to get 6 eliminations out of 662 damage, that is so great to see. And it's impressive because before this PMGC Grand Final started, we were all talking about Nenebet to this, Nenebet to that. Guess what? Now you're going to have to include Vitali because now that's back-to-back 6 elimination games.
Exactly. I mean, a new player when it comes to this stage here, 7, he's been looking so good. And no, Buridam, a team that had a little bit of a tougher time, right? Because they had to escape those field of positions. A lot of teams already were in strong positions inside that field finish. Did make it a little bit rough for them. Still, I would say, a strong approach, but the circle made it just a little bit rough to play at the end.
And for 4 Angry Man, Chinchin, I mean, for him to be able to get 4 elims, this was a team that didn't actually